Thank you so much for your testimony. So next we have Archbishop Wayne Randolph Felton, followed by Reverend Alfred Babington Johnson.
Thank you for coming. The Metropolitan Council has a terrific responsibility to carry forth in our great state of Minnesota. Arduously, this regional governmental agency serves over 55% of the entire state's population, which is established per state statute issued by our legislature to maintain public services, monitor and superintend the growth of the metro area, establishing and carrying out plans for each region. Among the myriad management roles this council stewards, the one of my interest is ensuring adequate, affordable housing of the seven-county area, which particularly in the seven-county area, that would be, of course, Anoka, Hennepin, Ramsey, Carver, Dakota, Scott, and Washington. I have been directly impacted by the authority of the Met Council, whereas, believe it or not, I'm a 13-year resident of the city of Lake Elmo. I thought you'd like that. In 2004, my city vehemently resisted high-density development, and the very idea has been a contested and discussed issue among my neighbors, particularly in the Whistling Valley subdivision. Although Lake Elmo's challenge of this council's statutory authority to compel a modification of its own comprehensive plan, State Supreme Court ruled in favor of Met Council based upon the stipulated statute which gives the council such authority. Pointedly, the decision of the council, which is controlled by and solely accountable to the appointees of the governor of this state, sadly supersedes the decisions and governing body of elected officials of the suburbs and exurbs it's called to serve. This system of governance is at best incongruent with what is necessary for the council to maximally fulfill its mission and implement long-term plans and desires of democratically elected officials in the greater metro area. As it stands, the Met Council dons a system of governance short of true democracy. That's incongruent with a model responsive to the people elected, who elected their officials to make plans for their communities. Rather, it's a robust, bureaucratic, democratic free bully, accountable only to the governor and designated appointees, with no system of checks and balances that's in the hands of the people. Such a structure as it sits is counterintuitive to the spirit of historic democracy of this country. It's an erroneous approach to fostering metro unity, and it's an egregious pathway to corruption, discrimination, and governmental malfeasance.
Right now.
Now, this form of unaccountable government should remind us of a time in American history, as my friend noted. There was a phrase which described a populace which is required to pay taxes to a government authority without having a voice of that government's policies. This phrase came in the form of a slogan of sorts, where American colonials declared to their British rulers, taxation without representation is tyranny. We must be brothers.
We are. We're all brothers.
Yeah, I want him as a deacon in my church, yes. This context was the people's voice of objection to the imposition of taxes on colonists by a government which gave them no role in its policies. I submit to you that the Met Council bears similar and collateral characteristics. In fact, the citizens of the seven-county Met Council have systematically walked in this type of behavior. For example, Met Council can levy taxes and issue bonded debt And in 2022, the capital program included $9 billion in spending, including $5.33 billion of authorized spending towards active projects. This capital spending far exceeds that of Hennepin or Ramsey counties, or Minneapolis or St. Paul. According to Minnesota Statute 473.128, Subdivision 1, Met Council has authority to, quote, exercise all powers which may be necessary or convenient to enable it to perform and carry out the duties and responsibilities now existing or which may hereafter be imposed upon it by law, end of quote. Additionally, the Met Council's authority even allows it to overrule decisions of other units of government, including elected government. Sidebar, that's crazy. Upon face value, this sounds quite extreme and robust in authoritative exercise. It is. These quasi-authoritarian powers, shrouded in the haberdashery of democracy, insults the very intelligence of the people whom the council is charged to serve and mocks the history of jurisprudence in its unaccountable exercise void of proper checks and balances of the people. I am a preacher. I'm almost done. Who determines the agenda and the scope thereof to the Met Council? Unelected leadership is not beholden to the people. For although the governor and the legislature are elected by and for the people, the Met Council possesses audacious and arguably dictatorial powers of which the people nor the municipalities can elect nor override the decisions thereof. Yet Met Council has the legislative right to levy taxes and contravene and supersedes the plans of metro cities. And I say that is asinine. My testimony is one of concern for the agenda, direction, and collateral impact of Met Council and its policies, and how this will affect the poor and ethnic minorities who struggle to make a living, and upon African Americans particularly. Void of an advisory commission of the people who can participate in the process of policymaking, like our school districts have, which have open meetings with input from the district residents on a litany of business, pedagogical, and policy issues, the Met Council will lack a transparency which fosters trust from the communities it's supposed to serve. There are well-founded reverberations of stories from qualified sources, and some you've heard today, which report that it is quite an obfuscating maze to get viable responses from the Met Council on simple questions, but primarily on the epistemological underpinnings of enacted policy. Our executive, legislative, and judicial branches of government in this great state, including all of their departments, agencies, and bureaus appertaining thereto, singularly nor collectively possess such autonomous authority to be non-responsive, evasive, or possess such autonomous, ridiculous authority, ignoring the plea, the cry, and reasonably prudent submission of noble query without there being some form of path unto accountable resolution. For the sake of time, I'll close with this. John Emmerich Edward Dahlberg Acton, or also known as Lord Acton, was an Anglo-Catholic historian, politician, and prolific author. He penned an infamous remark that is apropos to what we're facing today with the governance structure of Met Council. In his letter to an Anglican bishop in 1887, he said, "Power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely." Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for